Ever wondered why some habits stick so easily while others are hard to break? It all comes down to one powerful brain chemical, dopamine. Dopamine drives our motivation, reinforces rewards, and builds the habits that shape our daily lives. In this video, we'll break down 5 ways dopamine controls your habits and how you can use that knowledge to take back control. So stay tuned. How dopamine controls our habits. 5 in-depth mechanisms. Introduction. The dopamine blueprint of human behavior. Habits define much of who we are. From the way we wake up to the choices we make throughout the day, habits steer our lives. But behind these repeated behaviors lies a powerful neurochemical force, dopamine, often misunderstood as simply the pleasure chemical. Dopamine's role goes far beyond that. It acts as the brain's motivational engine, driving our actions, reinforcing routines, and establishing lifelong patterns, whether healthy or harmful. This video explores 5 key mechanisms by which dopamine controls our habits. 1. Reward reinforcement. 2. Motivation and anticipation. 3. Learning via feedback loops. 4. Cue recognition and craving. 5. Habit persistence and resistance. To change. By examining each in depth, we will uncover how dopamine not only encourages us to act but also solidifies behaviors into habits, some constructive and others self-defeating. With this understanding, we gain the tools to reshape our lives. Number 1. Dopamine reinforces reward pathways. The foundation of habit formation. The habit loop. At the heart of every habit is a neurological loop involving 3 steps. Cue, a trigger that initiates the behavior. Routine, the behavior itself. Reward, the benefit received. Dopamine plays a pivotal role here, not during the reward, but during its anticipation. This is known as incentive salience. When we encounter a cue, dopamine is released in key brain regions, motivating us toward the behavior that previously brought us satisfaction. The brain's reward center's key regions include ventral tegmental area, VTA, the origin of many dopamine neurons; nucleus accumbens, NAC, the pleasure center; prefrontal cortex, PFC, decision-making and planning; striatum, action selection and habit storage; repetition and reinforcement. Each time a behavior leads to a dopamine release, the connection between cue and routine strengthens. Over time, this forms a habit. The brain remembers what led to the reward and automatically cues the behavior again even before conscious thought kicks in. Example: you try coffee to stay alert during a late-night study session. Dopamine spikes. Your brain notes this. Next time you're tired, even without thinking, your hand reaches for coffee. This is dopamine at work, not just rewarding behaviors but reinforcing them so they become automatic. Number 2. Dopamine fuels motivation and anticipation. The wanting engine. Wanting versus liking. One of dopamine's most fascinating roles is in distinguishing between liking and wanting. Research by Kent Berridge and colleagues showed that dopamine does not govern pleasure itself, but the motivation to obtain pleasure. This explains why addicts often crave substances they no longer enjoy. We endlessly scroll social media, hoping the next post brings joy. Reward prediction and motivation. The brain is a prediction machine. Dopamine is released when a reward is expected, a new possibility emerges, a surprising reward appears, creating a prediction error. This motivates exploration and action. The higher the predicted reward, the stronger the dopamine signal and the greater the motivation to act. Delayed gratification and dopamine in environments where rewards are delayed. Long-term goals. The dopamine system helps us maintain effort and focus. But this is also why instant gratification, like sugar, likes, or shopping, can hijack the system, leading to addictive micro-habits. Example: you're working toward a promotion. Each step, completing a task, receiving praise, imagining your future, releases small bursts of dopamine. It keeps you going, but if rewards are removed or feel too far off, motivation collapses. In essence, dopamine is the fuel for effort, making you strive for what you believe will make you feel good. Number 3. Dopamine supports learning through feedback loops. How the brain learns from success and failure. Dopamine also acts as a feedback signal for learning. This is especially evident through a process known as reward prediction error. Positive error. Reward exceeds expectation. Dopamine spikes. Negative error. Reward is less than expected. Dopamine drops. Each time this happens, your brain updates its model of the world. Neuroplasticity. Learning mechanisms. This learning process alters neural pathways. Behaviors that yield better than expected results are more likely to be repeated. Behaviors that underperform are abandoned through this mechanism. Dopamine sculpts habits over time. Skill development and reinforcement. Let's say you're learning to play guitar. The first time you strum a chord and it sounds good, you feel a dopamine hit. Your brain tags that action as successful. Each repetition strengthens the circuit, turning practice into habit. The stronger the feedback loop, the deeper the habit is ingrained. The downside, negative learning loops. Unhealthy habits also leverage this system. Eating junk food when sad creates emotional relief dopamine. The brain learns this pattern, repeats it when sadness recurs without awareness. These loops can reinforce harmful behaviors just as effectively. Number 4. Dopamine reacts to cues and triggers. The spark of cravings, the power of environmental triggers. Dopamine doesn't just react to rewards, it reacts to the signals that predict them. This gives rise to cravings, which are intense motivational forces driven by associated cues. Cue: smell of popcorn, routine, buy and eat popcorn, reward, taste and satisfaction. Eventually, the cue alone triggers a dopamine response even before the routine starts. Cue-induced dopamine spikes with repetition. Even subtle cues, a time of day, a location, a social group, can trigger dopamine. This is part of classical conditioning. Pavlov's dogs salivated at a bell. Humans crave coffee just by smelling it or seeing a mug. Craving and addiction. Addictive behaviors often involve heightened sensitivity to cues. Smokers crave when they see a lighter. Gamblers react to casino lights and sounds. Social media users feel urges at the sight of a notification. These cues override rational control, making behaviors compulsive. Managing triggers. Understanding dopamine's response to cues is key to habit change. Remove or avoid negative cues. Replace them with healthier alternatives. Use cues intentionally to build positive routines. Example: placing a water bottle on your desk cues you to hydrate. Over time, the cue alone triggers the action without needing motivation. Number 5. Dopamine builds habitual persistence and resistance to change. The efficiency principle. The brain is an energy-saving machine. Once a behavior becomes efficient and rewarding, dopamine helps embed it into automatic processes. The dorsal striatum, a region deep in the brain, becomes more active as habits form. It allows actions to occur with minimal conscious effort. Why bad habits stick. Once dopamine has reinforced a loop enough times, the behavior becomes hardwired. Conscious willpower struggles to compete. Triggers prompt action before logic intervenes. This is why it's easy to relapse, even after years of abstaining from a habit. Effort-based decision-making. The dopamine system also evaluates cost versus reward. If a task seems too effortful with too little reward, dopamine drops, reducing motivation. If the reward is perceived as valuable, dopamine rises, encouraging pursuit. Behavioral inertia. Changing a habit means overcoming both neurological inertia, ingrained pathways, dopaminergic reward biases, seeking the easiest high. Strategies for rewiring. Start small, lower the threshold for good habits. Make rewards immediate, celebrate small wins, introduce novelty. Dopamine loves what's new. Example: instead of a vague goal like exercise more, start with one push-up. Reward yourself with something enjoyable. Dopamine responds to this success, helping the new behavior stick. Conclusion: becoming the architect of your habits. Dopamine is not destiny, but it is powerful. It teaches us what's worth repeating, drives our motivation, and builds the scaffolding of our daily behavior. Whether you're trying to build new routines or break bad ones, understanding the mechanisms by which dopamine controls our habits is key. So now you know how dopamine secretly shapes your habits every day. By understanding these 5 mechanisms, you can start building better routines and breaking the ones that hold you back. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more mind-opening content on psychology and behavior. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.